Aganyu is a deity associated with volcanoes, the wilderness, desert, and rivers. He was venerated in the Yoruba religion, the Umbanda, Candomble, Santeria, Haitian Vodou, and folk Catholicism. He is classified as an Orisha, segment that we just talked about recently, and his primary regions of influence were Nigeria and Benin, but also Brazil and throughout the Americas. His sacred places were many, but most notably the city of Havana in Brazil, where he is still the patron deity. His element is fire, and he is associated with the Orisha, of which he is a member. In terms of relation, he is the father of the deity Shango. An offspring he fathered with the deity Yamaya, and his mother is known to be Oroiña. In terms of weapon, he is classically associated with the axe, which is symbolic for him, but is said to often fight with the sword and has the ability to shoot flames. His sacred number is 9. His sacred animals would be the bull and the goat. His colors are red, yellow, and green, and as mentioned, his consort is the Orisha called Yamaya. His sacred stones are the pearl and the turquoise. His day is Wednesday and the 16th of every month. In terms of offering, his sacrificial foods include goats and guinea hens, but this deity is particular to fruit and other types of treats. He likes things in the set of number 9, so 9 fruits, 9 crackers with red palm oil, and or 9 plantain drizzled with red palm oil, 9 handkerchiefs or silk pocket squares, each of a different solid color. His symbols again would be the horns, which are associated with the bull and the goat, but also during this time they were associated with power. Aganyu is a primordial spirit, one of the forces of the earth, and is known to be attached with violent, powerful, cataclysmic upheavals. When the tectonic plates move, this is Aganyu. He is called the Orisha of Volcanos, and lava is his breath. Aganyu is a violently passionate Orisha, and like a volcano, his emotions build up, bottle up, and then explode. Although he's not seen as intentionally dangerous or malevolent, but it is seen that his power is far too dangerous for most to handle, and he often communicates with the world through the Orisha Shango, to whom he is close and may, as myth tells us, be the very father of. Aganyu is typically a very solitary spirit who dwells in the wilderness. He is the patron of travel and transportation, and in Catholicism has been synchronized with the Saint Christopher, whose feast day he shares. When he is angry, to which we know he becomes very angry, he expresses displeasure by causing aneurysms, high blood pressure, sudden strokes, and traffic accidents. He may also be petitioned to alleviate any of these situations or prevent them. He is still a reasonable god, and Shango often serves as a mediator. So an altar to both would probably be a good idea if you want to work through this very powerful Orisha. But Aganyu, for all his bluster and violence, is said to have a very large soft spot for children, to whom he can be very kind and protective. He is also the patron of porters and servants. And Agaya was also known to have a very passionate love affair with the deity Yamaya, who represent the ocean. And through the combination of this hot fire and land desert Orisha and this ocean Orisha, we get the very powerful Shango. For his connections in mythology, there are plenty of deities who are tied to or referenced with volcanoes. There was Vulcan of ancient Roman mythology, who was said to be a god of fire, including the fires of volcanoes, as well as deserts, metalworking, and the forge. Volos was a Slavic god of earth, water, volcanoes, and the underworld. Pele in Hawaiian religion was the goddess of volcanoes and fire and the creator of the Hawaiian Islands. Lalahan in Filipino mythology is the goddess of fire, volcanoes, and the harvest. Canleon is a Viziana god of time associated with the volcano Canleon. Bicola, god of fire and volcanoes, who lives inside the Mayon volcano and which erupts whenever he is angry. And there are other representations of Aganyu, as he is reflected not only in Yoruba mythology but in Santeria as well. So obviously volcanoes and worship or deification of volcanoes has been important in a lot of civilizations, particularly those who live within the anger or blast radius of this type of natural phenomenon. One thing we can say is that people around the world represented volcanoes as typically very angry and very dangerous types of forces, and it was important to understand what type of sacrifices they wanted, be it wine or goats or in some cases humans. We'll continue our discussion about volcanoes and volcano representations later, but we are going to continue immediately our research into the Orishas. So today we were able to bring you the volcano Orisha, and on our next episode we'll look to bring another of the fascinating Orishas to life in our series on the Orisha. Thank you again for stopping at Nine World Chronicles. Please remember to like and subscribe.